So, what happens if you hit all your big goals? Sounds like a high-class problem, right? And it is. But it is a big problem, especially to a lot of us high achievers. And for some reason, it can mean the beginning of the end. So listen up here. This morning, I want to try to help prevent this from happening to you, and to show you something even better than having big, hairy, and audacious goals. A good friend of mine joined me on a walk and talk recently. He was grappling with a problem. He has a partner in his business, a partner that he relies heavily on, and this partner owns half his business. The problem is, his partner lost all his motivation and has become a big anchor to the business. The guy was once super committed. He came up with all sorts of creative ideas. He pushed for innovation, he got things done, he showed up early, he stayed late, and he saw things through. You could count on him. He more than pulled his weight in the partnership. He was a real contributor, a great partner, but not anymore. Apparently, for the last 9 months or so, the guy hasn't contributed anything. He is suddenly unreliable. He shows up to the office only sometimes, and he leaves in the middle of the day for no reason. And as my friend said, overall, he's just joyless. The guy has become kind of a bummer to be around. I asked, so what changed? He said, well, all I can attribute it to is I think it's because he hit the goal that he always strived for. All his life, he told himself, and he told me for a decade, that his main goal was to get 10 million in the bank. That was what he was passionately after. Well, said my friend, with the sale of one of our businesses last year, he hit that goal, and he hasn't been the same since. Goal achieved, and the life force got sucked right out of him. So here's what happened here. The thing that drove him, what gave him focus, gave him purpose, gave him direction and meaning, and gave him a reason to muster the will, determination, discipline, resiliency, and creativity is now gone. The problem is my friend's partner was goal-oriented. And now that that goal is gone, so is all the motivation that the goal drove in him. This is the problem with goals. They are motivational for sure. They challenge you to work hard and to grind it out. But like all motivation that is derived externally, the motivation is fleeting, it's temporary, and it has a plateau and an endpoint. As soon as it is reached, everything that got you there is gone. All the challenge, all the drive, joy, and excitement, poof, gonzo. And there you are, left with nothing but the trophy that is quickly tarnishing and all this confetti to clean up. And hey, I understand this dilemma intimately. For much of my life, I was very goal-oriented. I chased one goal after another. I was like Johnny Lee sang. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was looking for a goal every place I went. And as soon as I hit that goal, instead of feeling fantastic, I just felt empty. I was supposed to feel happy. I had been working this whole freaking time to get here. And now that I am here, what I actually feel is the opposite of happiness. The fire that I had to get here is now extinguished. The sense of purpose that I felt, striving, pushing, scratching to get here, is gone. The reason to get up early, to be disciplined and focused, to think of creative solutions, all that is no longer needed. Now, I got nothing. Luckily, I learned something life-changing. And I don't remember if I learned it from a mentor or I picked it up in one of the conversations with many of the uber achievers that I have interviewed and worked with, or if it was just earned wisdom gained through getting older and wiser and learning the errors of my ways from my younger years. I learned to reorient my life around growth, not goals. I became growth-focused instead of goal-focused. Now, don't get me wrong here. I still believe in goals. I still set goals, but my goals are only there to serve my growth, not the other way around. That is a big distinction right there. Achieving goals is no longer the goal. Growth is. The SMART goals only act as tools to measure my growth. Did you get that? The difference sounds subtle, but the difference in life, in happiness, and your ability to produce results is massive. See, if growth is the goal, then the process is always joyful. If you are always experiencing growth all along the way, joy, happiness, and fulfillment isn't off in some distance where once you reach it, it's all over. No, with growth as your focus, it is in every step, every problem, every situation, every task, every project, every encounter. The joy really does transfer from the destination to the journey, a journey that now never ends. one where you only move from adventure to adventure. This is why I don't even understand the concept of retirement, of stopping, of just relaxing. Why would you do that? Why would you even want to do that? You'd only want that if A, you hate the process, you hate the journey, and that's just a damn shame. You choose what you do, or if you didn't at first, you're still choosing to stay. As Jim Rohn would say, you're not a tree, leave. Or B, you're goal-focused and you're done. This is why many people, when they retire, die soon thereafter. They literally lost their life. But if growth is their focus, then the journey never ends. You're never done. There is always more joyful growth to be had. Now again, it is not goals versus growth. It is not an either-or situation here. You need goals, but for a different reason. You see, I used to set goals as my source of motivation. It took goals to challenge me, to push me, to get me to do the grinding work. To hit the goal was the purpose of it all. Thus, it was all sacrifice, pain, and torment on the road to that one fleeting moment when the goal was hit. Now, I focus on growth. Growth is my source of motivation. Growth is what challenges me and pushes me. To grow is the purpose of it all. Thus, it is all fun, stimulating, intriguing, and joyful on the road that continues on. The adventure never ends. And I'll throw out some goals, sure, but the goals are more like mile markers on the road being traveled, a way to track, measure, and prove that growth and progress has happened. So just like being on a road trip, every once in a while you look out the window and you say, look at that, we're at mile marker 50 million. Nifty. Okay, keep motoring on. When you are growth-focused instead of goal-focused, your day-over-day happiness is increased 100 times. You experience zero drop of happiness when you hit goals. And this happiness is infinitely sustainable. Growth is always available to be had. And one last little secret to let you in on. I don't want you to do this for the reason, but it seems it's been my personal experience, at least, and the experience of many of my really close and super wise friends. It seems that the more you focus on growth, constant and never-ending growth, going for better every day in every way, that you way supersede any goals that you could have possibly made up or imagined previously. So, there's also much more success to be had in this approach as well. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I just wish that I knew what I labored here to describe to you here this morning much earlier in my life and success trajectory. No doubt it would have saved me lots of anguish, many sleepless nights, and probably would have accelerated my ascent. Kind of like taking off the emergency brake that you didn't even know was engaged as you're trying to travel on your road trip. Okay, to be sure that you got this, jot down in your Darren Daily Journal what struck you about today's session. What epiphanies hit you, if any? And then share that with us in the comments below.